All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a tool that is absolutely fundamental to how computers work with text, regular expressions. We're going to look at how they're built, the rules they live by, and most importantly, the exact point where their power just stops.
So, have you ever wondered how your email client just knows what's junk? Or how you can search for a word in a huge document and get a result instantly? Well, the magic behind a lot of that is a really elegant idea called pattern matching, and it's powered by regular expressions.
You see, at its heart, a regular expression, or regex for short, isn't really a program. It's more like a blueprint. It's a special way of writing down a pattern to define a very specific set of strings. And that collection of strings that perfectly matches the pattern, that's what we in computer science call a regular language.
Okay, so how do we actually build one of these patterns? Let's open up the toolkit and see what we're working with.
You know, it's actually way simpler than you might think. All the incredible complexity you see in regular expressions boils down to combining basic characters with just 3 fundamental operators. Seriously, that's it. Think of them like Lego blocks. Each one is super simple, but you can build almost anything with them.
So our first Lego block is the union operator. It's that little plus sign, and it's just a fancy way of saying or. So if you write the regex A plus B, you're describing a language that contains either the string A or the string B. That's it. Simple, right?
Next up, we've got concatenation. Again, it sounds complicated, but it just means put things in a sequence. The expression A.B, or really you'll usually just see it as AB, describes a language that has only one string in it, A followed immediately by B. This is how we start building actual words and phrases.
And now for the real powerhouse of the group, the Kleene star. The star means 0 or more repetitions of whatever came right before it. So A star describes a language that could have nothing at all, which we write with that little epsilon symbol. Or it could have 1 A or 2 A's or 100 A's, all the way to infinity. This little star is what gives regex power to describe infinite sets.
Okay, so we've got our building blocks. Now let's talk about the rules of the game. You can think of these as the laws of physics that govern this entire universe of patterns.
So what happens when we start mixing and matching these patterns? Like if you take 2 regular languages and combine them, is the result still regular? Well, that's where something called closure properties come in.
What this table shows us is just how stable regular languages are. See all those check marks? That means they're closed under most of these key operations. In plain English, if you take 2 regular languages and smash them together with union or concatenation, the result is still a regular language. It's incredibly consistent. But notice that X at the bottom. They are not closed under an infinite union. There are limits.
And this is a huge deal. It gives us a rock-solid mathematical guarantee. We can build and combine patterns with total confidence, knowing we're not going to accidentally create something that breaks the fundamental rules of being regular.
This stability is so reliable, we can even do a kind of algebra with regular expressions. Now, don't let this equation scare you. This is Arden's theorem, and it's basically a rule for solving equations that have these patterns in them. It's a super powerful tool for advanced stuff, like automatically converting a machine diagram back into the regex it represents.
But, every stable, predictable universe has to have a boundary. So for our final act, let's go find the absolute limit of what regular expressions can do. We're going to play a little game to find the very edge of the world.
So far, we've only been talking about what regular expressions can do. But what about the things they can't? And maybe more importantly, how can we prove with 100% certainty that a specific pattern is impossible for a regular expression to describe?
It all comes down to one simple thing: memory. The machines that understand regular expressions have finite memory. They can't count forever. So a pattern like A star B star is easy. That just means a bunch of A's followed by a bunch of B's. But the language ANBN, which demands an equal number of A's and B's, that's not regular. Why? Because to make sure the counts are equal, the machine has to remember exactly how many A's it saw, and it just doesn't have the memory for that.
To prove a language isn't regular, we use this really clever technique called the pumping lemma. Think of it like a stress test. It's a method specifically designed to find a language's breaking point by pushing its properties to the absolute limit.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we pretend the language we're testing is regular. We're basically setting a trap. Then, we pick a really long string from that language. We chop that string into 3 pieces, X, Y, and Z. And here's the key move, step 4. We pump that middle Y section by repeating it over and over.
If even one of those new pumped-up strings is no longer in our original language, we've found a contradiction. We win.
All right, let's play the game with our example, the language where you need an equal number of A's and B's. So, first move, we're going to assume that this language, L, is totally regular.
Now we choose a nice long string from this language. Let's say ANBN, where n is some big number. Now, a key rule of the pumping lemma game is that the piece we pump, the y part, has to be near the beginning of the string. For our string, that means y has to be made up entirely of A's, because all the A's come first. Okay, for step 4, let's pump it. We'll just repeat that y section one extra time, making the string x, y, y, z, or x, y squared z. So what do you think that does to our string?
Well, since our y part was made of A's, pumping it just shoved a bunch more A's into the string. But the number of B's at the end, it hasn't changed one bit.
And boom, there it is. The scales are unbalanced. The number of A's and B's is no longer equal. This new string completely breaks the rules of our language. We've found our contradiction. That means our first assumption that the language was regular had to be wrong. Game over.
So, why does any of this theory actually matter? Because these ideas are the bedrock of tools we use every single day. This isn't just abstract stuff, it's fundamental to how compilers understand code, how text editors can find and replace text, how command line tools like grep can search files, and even how network traffic gets analyzed.
So, we've explored the world of regular expressions, we've learned its rules, and we've actually found the wall at the very edge of it. And that leaves us with one last big question. If regular expressions can't handle patterns that need counting and memory, then what can? What other more powerful patterns lie just beyond that boundary? Well, that's a story for another time.